Number 12, statement here, says I have been advised from our city attorney that it would be best to excuse myself from agenda number 12. I'm excusing myself under section 171 of the government code. And at this time, we'll turn over the meeting to Mayor Pro Tem Mr. Porter. I'm going to step out of the chambers while this is discussed.
Item number 12 is discuss and consider action on the release of municipal lien for economic development. You have a memo in your packet that I'm sure everybody's gone through. What is the wish of the council?
Actually, can we have discussion before we make a motion?
Sure can.
On September 20th, I have some handouts. I have some handouts which include some email correspondence between me, city manager, city secretary, and Mayor Keefer. And like with all emails, they start with the last one and go to the first one, so you always have to read them in reverse. But in addition to those emails, I've included a copy of the Falls County records for the piece of real estate at issue. And the first thing I'd like to say is that on my first email to the mayor, or to the city manager and to the city secretary and to the mayor, I said it come to my attention that people were seeking reductions in municipal liens. I requested that the issue of municipal liens and reductions be directed for an agenda item under paragraph 3.2 of our code, which I have copies of for each one of you so you can see. It says that when we make, any one city council person makes a request for an agenda item to go on the agenda, it should go on the agenda, absent some malvalent reason. So, wondered why it wasn't on the agenda. Basically, what happened was there's a series of email correspondence between the mayor and myself, and at no time did he mention in any of this email correspondence that he was the owner of the real estate at issue. And there is no mention that he's the owner of the real estate issue in his presentation given to us at number 12. As a matter of fact, it goes a long way to say, or suggest, or infer that somebody else is the owner of that. And my position is that that shouldn't happen that way. All this should be up front. The details of the transaction should be set out fully. This is a transparent city council. We've worked hard to make it a transparent city council. Anything less than full transparency and disclosure is just not acceptable on any level. And it said that this is for economic development, but there's no evidence presented anywhere in this memorandum that this is beneficial for anybody except maybe the seller, and the seller is the mayor. So I think that that is a conflict of interest. I think it should have been disclosed to us, and I think that we have some issues that we have to take care of, including the...
Where do you have proof that he is the seller?
On the Falls CAD, off the Falls CAD, it identifies the owner of the property as the seller.
Actually, they're talking about 5310 Aikman, Block 2, Lot 2B. This is Lot 2A.
Well, then who is the seller? Why isn't it disclosed anywhere in here? If he is not the seller, why isn't that disclosed in here? Who
My
is the seller?
understanding, the city of Marvin is the seller.
Is it? Why doesn't it say the city of Marlin? That should be fully disclosed. The terms of the transaction, everything should be fully disclosed. the seller, who it was. If it's the city of Marlin, why don't we know that? That should be included in part of our package. You know, if FOSCAD pulls it up, that address, which was 1102, the address, I mean, I get what you're saying, there must be a second lot there. Then, was that included in the transaction? I don't know, I don't see a deed saying that.
I don't have anything that says that.
You know, so at best, we need to know what happened with the county. If there was a probate from the Nutt family, if this belongs to the Nutt family, if it belongs to the city of Marlin, if it belongs to the mayor, we need to know this information before we enter into any of these transactions. We also need to know if there's a financial benefit or gain by any one person in this. Nothing is described in here. The terms of the transaction aren't described. My position is, and always will be, so long as we're in a final crunch in this city, we are not going to release liens for less than full consideration. At least I will never vote for it to happen. We need that money in our pockets. That money was generated appropriately. Looks like it was filed appropriately. And we spent money, we spent city money to clean up that real estate, to create that lien. We should get that money back in full.
I don't know who the owner is. The only thing I will say, the city attorney said this is a voidable lien. We have nothing on file. There's nothing on file with the court. There's no paperwork on file here in the city. So,
Isn't this for our economic development?
Not showing as city property.
okay.
Isn't this for our economic development plan? Everything that comes for our economic development plan, we're gonna discuss it one-on-one.
This is not part of that plan.
No.
But this is for, it's a lien for economic development.
What's the municipal?
The lien was because at one time, I think the city mowed the lot, mowed the ground. And the former mayor put a lien against it because they didn't know who owned it. I guess evidently at the time.
I guess my question, are we gonna do this for every lot that we ever cleaned out?
I sure
Or are
hope
we
not.
pointing to this one?
I sure hope
No,
not.
this is,
Well, I'm kind of uncomfortable with pointing out one lot if we don't have a clarification as to who owns it. This discussion seems like it should be more precise if we're gonna deny this. It should be more factually based.
or approve it. Because it's asking for a rejection.
So what is the wish of the council?
I would vote that we approve.
Well, someone's bringing a business in, we've got to spend a pretty good amount of money. Of course, we don't know that. We only have what's written on paper. But if someone's bringing a business into this town, or going to do some type of operation in this town that spends money, that little $1,000 lien we put against it is irrelevant, based upon it's going to go on the tax rolls instead of an abandoned property or a property that has nothing on it.
You know what? I would say that's true if you had the information. We don't know who the buyer is. We don't know who the seller is. We don't know the terms of the contract. We don't know who gets a financial windfall or gain from this. And we don't have enough information. This town has really been over backwards to a number of accommodations in the past. We're sitting there with a big piece of property in both of our precincts that doesn't get mowed on a regular basis, with representations to us by a number of important people that it would be taken care of, kept nice, and maybe sold and developed. But, you know, and we knew the names of those people, but in this case, we're dealing with unknowns. There's just too many unknowns here to make me comfortable at all in moving forward with something like this. And I honestly do not know, if we don't know who owns this piece of real estate, how do we know whether or not the owners aren't going to jump back in and ask for title back? You know, in the best case scenario, you're buying a piece of real estate, you want a clean title. I don't even know that they get clean title.
That's irrelevant to this council.
Well, it is and it isn't.
No, it's irrelevant. We don't care. We shouldn't care who's buying what, as long as it improves the city. if somebody's gonna buy a piece of property, they have to go to title search and pay the money to do that, then that's their problem. Because you know, every time you buy a house, you pay a title search. Mortgage company makes you do that unless you're paying cash. So even if you're paying cash, somebody should have enough business sense to do that.
If this real estate is owned by the city of Marlin, we're entitled to have this information disclosed.
She says it's not, it's not.
So,
It is not.
okay, so who owns it? And why aren't they here?
Well, I can only tell you what's written in the piece of paper, that's all.
And I'm not disputing,
Did you want to take a question off from the citizens?
No. What's the wish of the council?
Make a motion that we approve.
Have a motion, is there a second?
The property as described is Heather Jeanette McPhail and Kevin Henry Nutt. And I can tell you when that exchange. That exchange happened November the 1st. And that was, I guess they probated a will, it says will, from Clyde Nutt.
did they own both pieces, lot A and B?
Hold on.
Well, it's not
Says-
relevant.
That is correct. I have a motion, no second. Motion dies. Next item, somebody at the mayor.